What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to do a how-to for changing the oil on your 2022 Husqvarna, whatever it is. It's going to be the same for any 4-stroke for the most part. 2-strokes, obviously, it'll be a little bit different. But yeah, let's hop into this thing. All right, so the general timeline for changing oil is like, they usually say like 2 to 5 hours. I like to say it's dependent upon the rider. I mean, if you're going and you did a race, you should probably change the oil because you ran the bike hard. You probably did a practice, ran it hard, did the race, ran it hard. So probably a good idea to change the oil. If you're just like dicking around and riding through the woods and doing all that goofy stuff, then you might make it 5 hours. Another good way to do it, which is how I do it, if you have a window, obviously it makes it a lot easier. But if you look in the window and you can't see through the oil to the silver star in the back, for instance, let me stand it up so you can see it. So yeah, it's pretty black. So I try to get it to the point where it's like kind of like a brownish hue. It's starting to turn black, but it's not completely black yet, because that's like what you want to avoid. So without further ado, let's start diving into how to change oil on this thing. First things first, remove the fill cap. This is gonna help your oil drain a heck of a lot faster, and you probably get more out. I usually just let it chill right here in the foot peg, like that. Then you're gonna come around to the left side, and you're gonna grab yourself a 13-inch wrench, because you're not gonna be able to fit a socket back here. Trust me, I've tried. And it is that bolt right here. So let's take that out, and then we're gonna do this little guy right here, which is your the screen for your oil to catch like all the debris and stuff. And then we're gonna take off these two 8mm right here to get our oil filter out. This is a 13 right here, and then this is also a 13. So you could use it for this too, but I'm gonna use a socket and a wrench for that one. So let's do that. So it's not all the way black, but it is darker. So this is like where we want to change it, because you don't want it to be completely black, because then you waited too long. But you also don't want to have it gold, because then you didn't use it enough. Cool. So we'll let that drain. So once you have the oil filter out, I'll just take a shop towel and just kind of wipe the inside of this just to get anything out, and then kind of wipe the edge of it so you can get any kind of dirt that's sitting on the lip out of here. And then I'll do the same thing down here. The oil screen goes. Just make sure you don't get dirt in there. There we go. Got that all wiped out. And then what I'll do with the oil screen, I'll just get like contact cleaner, spray this off, get all the little silver like chips, if you will, all those shiny things. Just spray it, get all that off, then we'll put that back in. Now we got that all sprayed off. Just clean the cap. Make sure there's no dirt sitting in this. Here we go. And find your oil screen. Let's wipe this off before we put this back in. Inspect it, make sure there's no cracks in it, there's no dirt, and then you're good to go. Cool. Now you can take your bolt or cap, whatever you will, put this in here. Direction doesn't matter for this, just as long as it sits in there. Put it back in. There we go. Use our 13 to get it all the way in. And then I just snug it up. You don't need to smoke it, just make sure it's tight. There you go. Done. Perfect. Cool. Next up, I forgot to tell you on that last one, anywhere you have like a rubber O-ring to seal it, make sure you put some oil on this. New oil, not old oil. So put new oil on your O-ring, which we did on this one already. Then we'll take one of our new filters, which we keep in a jug like this, just to keep them pre-oiled. That way we don't have to do it, because I know in the manual it says you need to lean the bike over and fill the oil, or fill the oil filter up through here. So if you do it this way, you don't need to do that. So we'll reach in here without getting dirt in here, grab us a filter, there we go. And then let me show you this. So the rubber side, the black side, is going to go inserted into the engine like so. Push it back, it'll kind of click in. It's just a little rubber grommet, so it'll just kind of, you'll feel it push in. And then we'll put a cap on. We cleaned everything, so don't have to worry about dirt getting in. It's just a good habit to get into. Then I'll use a T-handle for this, just makes life easier. And then you want to make sure you're going in evenly. So I'll go top and then back to bottom, back to top, back to bottom. There we go. And now we can get it tight. So the reason you want to make sure you're going even on this is you do have an O-ring on there and you're tightening from two different sides, so you don't want to pinch it. So make sure you're going as even as possible, and then I'll go around and make sure the O-ring isn't pinched. And then wipe it off with your towel, because we just touched it with oily fingers, and we don't want oil marks all over this thing. So there you go. Screen's good and our oil filter's good. Then we'll take our drain bolt. Ugh, how much crap is on that. And we'll wipe off our magnet. I really hope that's just from sitting in this drip pan and not from the engine, because that worries me. So wipe it off, make it look pretty. There we go. It's kind of cool that Husky includes a magnet on this to catch all the crap that's in your engine. There you go. So this is your magnet. Clean that off. We'll put it back in. Over here, you can replace your crush washer if you want, but I only do it like every 4 oil changes or something. But, or if it's leaking, but this is oil change number 4 and it has not leaked yet, so we're good there. And then get your wrench. Doesn't need to be super tight. There you go. Alright. This might be a little silly to some of you, but this makes your life a whole lot easier, because it calls for 1 liter, which technically is 1 full thing of this, but this isn't all the way full. So if I fill this up to 500, fill it up to 500 again, we're good. So either a full thing of these, or if you have a graduated cylinder, this helps you a lot. I'm just saying. Cool, now we have our oil. Here's where we fill our oil up. This is the other reason why graduating cylinder is awesome, because you don't need a funnel. You can just pour it straight in. So we'll pour this in. We'll go fill it up to 500 one more time. And then we should be good to go.
What are you pouring in there, Daddy?
Some oil.
What's in there?
The 10W50 kind.
Can I see it?
Yeah, check it out.
It's going in there?
Sure is. Here's a part number for K&N if you want to use, K&N oil filters. I get these from Rocky Mountain ATV MC. It's K&N-652. And then for oil, the bike requires 10W50. I'm a big fan of Maxima, so I use the Pro Plus, which is their ester formula, and it's 100% synthetic. And if you get a whole new one, you can just pour this whole thing in there. But like I said, graduated cylinder helps you a lot when you're trying to pour it in without using a funnel. So anyway, this is the oil that I use, and that's the oil filter I use. So once you have all your oil in, you started your bike, let it run for a little bit, warm up, and then give it time to cool down, and all the oil, give the oil time to settle back down into the window or the dipstick, whatever you have. You just want to make sure it's in the middle of the window. When it's cold, when it's hot, it can be in the middle or the top, in between the middle or the top. Yeah, and then whenever you obviously need to have the bike on a level surface, so I usually just stand it up on the stand, keep the bar straight, and then I'll go down and check the oil. So, but there you go. That's how you change the oil on a 2022 Husqvarna FC350. It's going to be the same for all 4 strokes for the most part. I mean, you might not have the screen in there, but you will have an oil filter and you will have oil. 2-stroke, you won't have the oil filter, or I don't know if they have screens yet, but kind of just dependent upon the bike. But that's how you do it on 2022 FC350. So thanks for watching, like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you.